Up at Charlie's house, the formation of the new supergroup of chimps is well underway, and Mojo's females have woken up and joined the merry throng. But one of them, an elderly female called Mona, is having a hard time at the hands of the raucous youngsters. Keeper Jeremy's particularly sympathetic.
I reckon Mona acts to me like she's had enough grief in her life to last her life, and she wants to use it. But I can sympathise with her, you know. I'm on her side.
Mona is still crippled by the injuries she suffered as a baby when she was locked in a car boot in Spain for a year. But she's not going to get much sympathy from this mong, and if she wants to earn any status from this group, she's going to have to try and join in as best she can. Charlie's getting frustrated. Although he welcomes the company, he's had enough of all these new faces. The noisy group is beginning to fray his nerves. And for some reason, poor Mona's about to bear the brunt of his annoyance. Chimps are always high energy, but the group clearly needs some space to sort themselves out. Outside, one of Mojo's females has got more space than she bargained for. Chatter, the most antisocial of the chimps and always a bossy boots, has been excluded for everyone's benefit. Alison's convinced that Charlie's group just isn't the place for her.
Everything's going so well now with Mojo and Charlie and Paquito and Sally and all of the babies and everybody that to try and throw her in there and potentially disrupt the lot would be silly. The house is so full of individuals that they can't really get out of each other's way, and adding one more, and especially Chata, who's a bit volatile, to all of that could just be like throwing a match to tinder. So we've decided we'll move her down to the pavilions, and we'll try introducing her to Paddy and Rodney's group. So that's her best way forward, and she might actually learn some manners during the process.
Back indoors, the youngsters still have to learn some manners with poor old Mona. They don't mean any harm, they're just frustrated. What they need is some fresh air. Now Charlie's group is at last complete, there's no need to keep them all shut in any longer. But for one of the chimps, the outdoors will be a big and scary place. Paquito was locked up for 24 hours a day till he was rescued. After a year at Monkey World, he still hasn't ventured out. Meanwhile, Keeper Dave's taking time out from his duties to catch up on some reading, and it's his favourite author. Dave considers himself to be one of Dr. Jane Goodall's greatest fans.
She's the foremost person on the study of chimpanzees in the wild. She's been studying chimps around, nearly 40 years now. She went out to Gombe in 1960. And is one of those people who always wanted to meet. She comes down from time to time, actually down here and wanders around, but I've never had the opportunity to meet her. I would love to meet her, I really would.
The chance may come sooner than he thinks. The Woolly Monkey House has been shortlisted for a design prize to be presented by none other than Jane Goodall. The house is a triumph, but its occupants prefer to be outdoors today. The woolly monkeys are on their endless hunt for food. They're aided by that special tail, which acts as a fifth limb. The tip is as sensitive as a hand. But it's also strong enough to hang from, whether high up in the canopies of their native South American forests or in the woods at Monkey World. Standing on two legs helps them see tiny plants down in the undergrowth. Woolies have to munch their way through a third of their own body weight every day. In the wild, woolies eat over 200 types of plants, so Mike and Mia have their work cut out, providing them with the variety they need. A delicate lot, the woolies use their herb garden both for food and to keep healthy. But at the moment, it's in particularly heavy use. Mike's noticed that one herb, yarrow, has been completely scoffed by one of the females called Chica. She's already polished off the lot, but she's come back for more. And this could mean good news. Yarrow relieves the symptoms of bloating, one of the first signs of pregnancy. Woolly monkeys don't breed easily, so a birth here would be a treat for Monkey World. Over at Charlie's house, a real treat. The group are being let out. Charlie's first out, of course, followed by screaming Mojo, his new deputy. He's nervous about the new territory. Everyone's excited and a little wary. Paquito hasn't been outdoors for 8 years and is still feeling highly agoraphobic. There's a lot of tension in the air, and all the chimps look for reassurance from each other. But Charlie's quiet confidence soon has a calming effect on the rest of the group. Paquito's still unsure, but he can see everyone else has braved the great outdoors without any harm. So he decides to face his worst fear. The ground feels firm enough. Now he must summon the courage to take his first few steps. That's quite far enough for Paquito for now. He enviously watches the boisterous youngsters. They make it all look so easy. It's positively unnerving. Bob, the most confident of all the babies, has the best of both worlds. He can strut around pretending to be tough and show off to the more insecure adults. But when he wants to, he can also play at being the baby of the group. Bob knows how to get what he wants. He regards Charlie not just as a leader, but as a soft touch. Bob's got Charlie wrapped round his little finger. Whenever he wants his special attention, all he has to do is ask for it. It works every time. Down at the other end of the park, outside the old pavilions, is the other chimp supergroup, led by the formidable silverbacked Paddy. And there's a surprise in store for them. Inside their dormitory, the misfit female chatter is waking up, and she's here to stay. Even in this daze, Chatter finds herself drawn to the window. Paddy's gang have been locked outside. And it isn't long before they've spotted the stranger lurking in their dormitory. Everyone's dying for a look at the newcomer, especially Jimmy. He's fascinated by this mystery female. Some are frightened while the others are mesmerized. She's clearly going to cause a bit of a stir. A surprise visit from Dr. Jane Goodall. And it can only mean one thing.
Jane, if you want to come on up.
The Woolly Monkey House has won the prize for Best New Animal Enclosure in Britain.
I'm very glad to be here.
The press have turned out in force. Jane Goodall's name alone commands huge attention in the conservation world.
So, thank you very much, Jane.
Alison, who designed the house, proudly accepts the award. And then it's time for a few words for the press and a pleasant surprise for Mike.
None of this would be possible, of course, without the assistance of our staff, the keepers, and Mike, if you'd like to come forward. The people who look after the animals every day and care for them and make their environment work. And Mike, you're just as deserving.
It shows that we're able to make as good an enclosure that can be made for a particular species. And we're very proud, in fact, to have Dr. Jane Goodall down here. When you're talking about animal behavior and animal welfare, it just doesn't get better.
Back to work after the photo call, Mike's brought Gordon down to the orang house. His new day room is ready, and it's time for him to get used to being away from Mike's home during office hours. It's a bit like the first day at school. Although Mike's clearly a bit sad to see his little lad about to leave home, like all good parents, Mike knows that it's for the best.
Got loads of bamboo in here, but that's
It's
just
time for young Gordon to make a start in the big world of the park.
Will you go inside? See, you've got a few toys from home.
It's a wrench for any dad, but Mike will be back this evening to take Gordon home again.
Nice and warm in here. There's your blankets. I'll put you down on your blanket. You know what that is, don't you? Good boy. Good boy, Gordon. There you are.
Sensibly, Mike puts a brave face on it and gets the goodbyes over and done with as quickly as possible.
Cheers, Gordon. He's a good boy. That is actually the way to do it. And right from, when he was sort of a healthy little baby after he'd come out of all the intensive care, I used to take him into different rooms at home, put him down on the bed and then leave him and come out. So he's actually got used to being taken places and put somewhere and left. There's also a very narrow line you have to walk when he does start to cry to know when he's actually throwing a paddy, or whether he is actually really distressed. If he is really distressed, then obviously I would go in and calm him down, because you can't have him getting, overstressed. I'm sure that he will end up playing up to the crowd something chronic. He will, I'm sure, because they can get right up to the glass and talk to him and play with him, and he'll enjoy that.
September, and he swears.
Up at Charlie's house, a dream come true for Dave. Dr. Goodall has asked for an update on the chimpanzees, and Dave, bursting with pride, is filling her in on Charlie's new supergroup. Jane Goodall's been following Monkey World since the beginning.
So I was here when the very first group of chimpanzees were brought in from Spain, the Canary Islands, and they were at that time in quarantine, and I was there when the doors were opened, and for the first time they came out into an enclosure like this, and they hadn't seen trees for maybe 2 or 3 years since they'd lost their mothers in the forest. It was wonderful. So I met Charlie in Spain. I saw Charlie when he was so hooked on drugs that when he was darted, tranquilized for the journey, he got the syringe and came and begged the veterinarian to give him a shot. It was very moving. I think that Jim and Alison have done an absolutely fabulous job. I mean, it's the kind of outcome of what I started in 1960, I suppose, that certainly gives me a feeling of enormous satisfaction that the message has been heard, and because of Monkey World is being heard and passed on to so many hundreds of people.
Jim and Alison have told Jane Goodall about the orphan baby chimps held in Turkey, and she's promised to help in any way she can.
Well, they certainly need to spend the rest of their lives in a place like this, a place like Monkey World. They can't go back to Africa. It's totally inappropriate to keep them in anything less than a decent natural group, looked after by people who understand chimpanzee behavior and can care for them if they get sick.
Everyone's desperately hoping that one day soon the 2 pet trade orphans will return from Turkey and join the youngsters in Charlie's group. But at the moment, that time seems a long way off. And there's a more immediate concern. Jeremy's noticed something wrong with one of the group. Little Bob isn't moving. He's clearly very ill. Jeremy is very worried and calls Jim on the radio to tell him what's happened.
Sue, can you call the vet right now? Get on the phone.
I'll do it straight away.
Yeah, and I'll get in here. Bob's dropped pretty quickly.
What's wrong with it?
It looks like it's abdominal, and he's really grabbing his stomach, and he's collapsed, pretty hard. So, and it looks like it's enteritis, but it's acute. It's happened very quick. So, let's get the vet in as fast as we can. He's a baby. You've got to move quick.
Jim, it's Mike Nathan.
Vet Mike Nathan arrives within minutes. Bob's been moved into an isolation cage in Charlie's house, and Jeremy and Dave have done their best to settle him down. Everyone's concerned to know what's going on. But clearly there'll be no further news until Mike's finished examining Bob. Unaware of the drama, down at the Woolly Monkey House, Mike's on the prowl.
You can say hello, darling. You're such a beautiful girl. I'd like you to come and sit up on the top here and just wee into that for me. Is that too much to ask? It's not really, is it? This is one of the probably less glamorous aspects of the job. I'm actually trying to collect some urine from Chica, the woolly monkey. We have a feeling that she's pregnant, And one of the first signs of a pregnant woolly monkey is that they tend to drink a lot and urinate a lot. And as she's drinking a lot and starting to urinate a lot, I really would like to get some urine from her to do a test, and we can see if her levels, glucose, ketones, blood, protein and that are normal. We're looking towards a pregnancy in about 220 odd days, so that'll be nice, or a little baby in about 220 odd days.
Saying you're going to collect a urine sample from a woolly monkey is one thing, but getting the monkey to cooperate is quite another. Mike's got his work cut out.
Make it a wee for you. Please make my day. It's a good girl. Well, I think we've got enough.
Up at Charlie's house, vet Mike Nathans had a chance to examine Bob and make a diagnosis. Bob's got a bad stomach infection.
This is particularly nasty. This is just bloody diarrhoea that's coming. I've taken a sample. We'll send it off to the lab and see what comes from that. Jeremy was actually able to handle him, which is quite nice, and we've given him some injections to treat this. It could be a nasty bacteria that's going around in his gut. It just could be allergic reaction. There's the possibility he might have eaten something outside, but he's a very quiet, dejected little chimp, and if he's not improving, then we're going to have to give him some fluids, either under his skin or intravenously. That would be a different ball game.
Mike's got his chemistry set out. He's pretty sure Chica's pregnant, so now he must monitor her health.
This isn't a pregnancy test, so this won't actually tell us if she's pregnant. But when an animal becomes pregnant, a lot of these go up, especially the glucose one goes up. We're looking for other signs now. As soon as we put the fresh water in, she would come over and drink, and then she'd urinate. And then, we notice how much the water bowls are going down daily, and that was one of the signs to look for, that she was drinking a lot and urinating. She did, so hopefully that means that we've got a healthy woolly monkey doing it right.
As the day draws to a close, there's concern for Bob, but at least there is some good news. Jane Goodall has written a letter of support urging that the baby chimps that Jim and Alison had to leave behind in Turkey should be sent to live at Monkey World.
They've come through. First of all, we got a letter from Jane Goodall, and she did the business. And then, minutes later, CITES sends back saying that they've told the Turks that the best place for the chimps to come is Monkey World. This is actually a letter to Jane Goodall, following her letter to them.
Yeah, well, that's the...
Jim and Alison are hopeful that Jane Goodall's reputation and influence will persuade the Turkish government that the zoo where the chimps are being kept isn't suitable for them.
And she said to them that Monkey World is, the best place that she knows for these chimps to be rehabilitated. And if someone's going to, someone who knows can say that, it's Jane Goodall.
We've also had Shirley McGreal from America, who's the International Primate Protection League, and they work around the world rescuing primates. And we got Shirley to send a similar letter as well, so I think that they've been getting it from all angles. So.
And highly respected people in these authorities are writing them, saying, thank you very much, wonderful job enforcing CITES with Monkey World, send them here. Now that's clear. They simply aren't going. It's not going to get better. They can't ask for more than that.
The day has ended with encouraging news about the Turkish orphans, but everyone's still very worried about Bob. Although he's improved slightly, he's clearly far from well, as Jeremy and Dave bed him down for the night. Head keeper Jeremy has lived and worked with these chimpanzees for over 10 years. No one understands better than Jeremy how they may be feeling and what can be done to help.
The more you have to do with chimps, the more you realise you don't actually need verbal language to communicate. And because of that, he doesn't have to tell me he's in pain. I can see he's in pain. We don't know exactly what he's got. Yeah, I mean, what it is that's causing it. We're taking samples this morning, but we're just treating the symptoms at the moment, and giving him the antibiotic cover and the steroid and the painkiller. Making him happy, keeping his fluids out. I think, as looking at him, I think the Buscopen's working now because he isn't quite so conscious of where he lies. Before, he was very, he lay down and then he couldn't get comfortable, so he was all sort of, he just couldn't get comfortable, so he was never content, and then he'd go somewhere else and try again, then he'd come and sit on me, and that wasn't right. And whereas now, if you look at him, he's obviously still in discomfort, but he's more relaxed about it, so treat it accordingly.
But next day, the young chimps know better. And there's sad news.
This morning, he just was pretty much collapsed, and we immediately brought him into to our veterinary surgeon, which is quite close by, and he gave him some anesthesia, and we were going to X-ray him and carry out some more tests and start giving him some more supportive therapy. And under anesthesia, we just lost him. So it's gonna happen if you've got 45 animals that you've got living in groups. Things will happen. Whether it's flu or it could be anything. A young animal won't always be able to tough it out, and things can happen. It doesn't help. Each chimp is an individual here, and so you kind of know him, and you know who he is, and you know what he's about, and what you like about him, and stuff. So it's tough, and I think it's tough on Jeremy because he hand-reared him. Bob was his boy, if you like. And when he was really sick, he looked to Jeremy in particular, and to people that mattered to him because he was in trouble. So to lose him, it's a pretty crushing blow for people here. And having 44 other chimps doesn't really count for much. We need to find out what happened, and why.